Hello there, students. Once again, Mr. Brzezinski here to talk you through another wonderful lesson. This time it's going to be called 100, and it's going to talk you through how to create a great website. And it is based on the 100 most influential people from Time magazine. First thing you need to do is open the assignment, and you're already watching this video, so let's make sure that we pull this out of this tab out of the window here. We're going to drag that down and resize it and get it off to the right hand side so that I have areas that I can see what I'm working on and watch the video at the same time, like so. First step, organize windows. So I have my web pages organized, and I can see the video and do the project at the same time here. So I'm back into the stream, and I want to make a new website, and I can't just add it here. Eventually I will add a drive. I will add the link. I will add the link to my website later, but I first need to create the website. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to scroll up here to a new tab, create a new tab, and I'm back inside of Google, and I can see my widgets up here in the upper right hand side, or my apps, and I can click on those apps and get the window open here and be able to see that I'm going to select sites. So I create a website. As you can see here, I'm going to use the blank template. I'm going to name the site, your last name. This is what you're going to name your project here. Last name, first name, 100. I can scroll down further and select a theme. Choose any theme you want. I'll go through, find one that I like, select it. You can select any one that you prefer, and that's it. I can use create. After a brief intermission, it will show me that it's created the site, and I'm currently on the home page here, and I have some buttons over on the right hand side, and I'm ready to start writing. So this first page here, I'm going to label this 100 most influential people. So to do that, I need to hit the edit button. So I'm going to edit this page. It loads up the editor with all the word processing features right here. And I can change this from home to 100 most influential people. Type that in right there. And down here, I'll start putting in the names once I figure out what I'm going to do. At any time, you could also hit save and just check it out, as it will be seen by your viewers. But I will need to hit edit again when I go to work on it once again. And the next thing I need to do is pick out 3 people. I'm going to go to the Time Magazine 100 list. So this is also on my stream right here, 100 most influential people. I can click on that link. It will open up in a new tab. And then I can pull this tab right out of the window and reposition it so I can see all my people. So you have the most influential people. You have builders and titans and athletes and Microsoft, software people and people that created the internet and all sorts of people here. You can go through the list and check out people that you want. You can actually minimize this window a little bit so that you can resize it, keep everything straight in different windows. But I'm going to pick out 3 people from this list. So take some time, go through the list, see who's in there, and then come back when you are ready to select your people. So I'll talk you through the first one. The first one I'm going to do is Bruce Lee. I will click on Bruce Lee, and it will open up a new tab with information about Bruce Lee from multiple sources. This is encyclopedia.com right here, and I can scroll down and read about Bruce Lee right here. I can also go to different areas across the tabs here to find out more. But for the most part, what I'm going to do here is figure out 3 people, and then I'll write a who, what, when, where, and why for each person. And I will do that in 3 to 5 sentences, a very brief paragraph, and you'll see how I formulate this in 1 minute. So I first will say, okay, Bruce Lee, I'm going to do one on Bruce Lee. You can either copy and paste the person's name. Sometimes if it is not a common name, you may want to copy and paste. Otherwise, you can just type it into your web page. So I'm going to select Bruce Lee here. I'm going to find a section there that I can select. I'm going to copy that, Command C to copy, and I'm going to go back to my website that I'm creating over here, Most Influential People. Now remember, I need to be in the editor to edit the page. So I click on the editor, and the first person I'm going to paste and match style. Boom, right click, paste and match style. If I right click it, or I can just paste Bruce Lee's name into the window. I will give a little bit of space there, and I will go back and find 2 more people. So go ahead and enter in 3 people's names onto your web page. So now I entered in 3 people's names. In this one, I forgot to paste and match style, but that doesn't matter. I can do all of them the same size by selecting the entire area there, selecting all the names, and using the same size font, and going ahead and using the same type of font, just like that. I can also, just in case it was gray, the words were gray, I can also make sure that all the words are now black. So now I have my 3 people's names right in a row there, and let's go find some pictures. Sometimes the pictures will be on the website, and you could use these pictures if you choose, but also I can search these people's names in Google if I wanted to find their picture on the internet as well. So a lot of times I can just paste Rosa Parks' name into the Google search, click on images, and look for a picture for Rosa Parks. Once I select a picture, you will notice that this is not the picture. Okay, this is not the picture. I need to say view image. So I selected a picture, and then I have to hit view image to get to the JPEG file. I could take this JPEG file, and I can click and drag it in to my website window. Okay, so I'll have a small picture and the name on the home page. So I'll have a picture and a name for each person. I can resize this picture so that it's a little bit smaller, and I'll do that now. So right up here, you'll see the picture. Its size is large. I can make it small. I would say no larger than the medium for these items here. So I have a medium picture, small, large, or I can scale it full force. If it is a smaller picture, it might be full force at 100%. But you can just choose. I'm going to use small for my person here, for Rosa Parks. And so you'll see Rosa Parks with the name underneath. I can go up to the Walt Disney area up here and find a picture for Walt Disney and Bruce Lee. Go ahead and do that. Find your pictures, drop them in there, resize them so they are somewhat appropriately placed in your website. In case you come across this problem where you have the picture here and it's attached to the words and you can't get it up any higher, the picture has been dropped in like a piece of text. Okay, so it's the same as a big letter being right in front of Bruce Lee. So to get Bruce Lee on the next line, of course, I'm just going to hit return, and then I can hit return to give a little bit of buffer there in between one person to the next. I can also select all of these people, Command A, or just clicking and dragging across. I can select all of the entire web page here, and I can center everything in the center of the page as well. Now, because I'm making a web site and not just a page, I'm going to be creating more than just one page. The first page has the pictures and the names of the people, but then I will have subpages that will have information about each person. So I can save this home page here, the 100 last name, first name, and I can create another page. So I can simply click the create new page right here, and this page will go on the same site. So the name of the page will be the name of the person that you are doing your site on. So the next page will be called Bruce Lee. I will click on Bruce Lee right there, and I'm also going to try to put it in a certain position. I don't want Bruce Lee to be on the same page as the home page, most 100 people. So I'm going to put it under the page. So I click on put under the most 100 most influential people, and that will layer it so that I'll have a home page, and then this will definitely be a sub page because it will be under the home page. I don't want to have it all on the same level. So then I click create, and it will load up a new page for me, and you'll see how it is. It's under the 100. So I have the home page here, and I'm currently on the Bruce Lee page, which has already been labeled for me right there. On this subpage for Bruce Lee and all my other people, I'm going to drop a picture, and I could use the same picture that I used earlier from the Google search I did, or from the encyclopedia website, or whatever, or I can find a new one, and that's okay too. I can go back and pick out a different one, but remember I have to hit view image first, select the picture, and drag out that new picture in there, and I can make it small again. Then I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to put the person's name once again underneath the picture. So like I said, the pictures come in almost as pieces of text, and I can click on the right hand side as if this was a big letter. I hit return, and it brings me down to the next line where I can type his name, or I can copy and paste it from the home page, from the website, anywhere you'd like. I can also increase this font size and make it a little bit bolder for the individual pages. I can then hit return, and depending on how I'm feeling here, I can go back down to a smaller size for the information. Now remember, I'm going to do the who, what, when, where, and why of the most influential part of this person's life. Do you understand? Not when they were born, not who their college roommate was. Those types of things are insignificant. We really want to focus on the most influential part of their life. So therefore, I'm going to do some research here, going back to the website from Encyclopedia on Bruce Lee. I'm going to read through and try to come up with the who, what, when, where, and why. So here's a little rundown. Who? So your first thing you're going to do is name the person, and you're going to write this in paragraph form, not in order like this. So this will be a short paragraph, 3 to 5 sentences, because most of these who, what, when, where, why you could double up in one sentence. So first you're going to name the person or persons, however many people, if it was a group of people, were involved. Then what were they best known for? What was the most influential thing that they did? You're going to say where the action took place, and it could be a continent, it could be the United States, it could be, all around the world. You have to have a where. And when, you're going to write about the time frame that this took place. Maybe it was a certain year, maybe it was a selection of years of maybe when a person was president, maybe it was decades that a person became popular and had the hit television show over the 80s and 90s, so you could span 20 years by doing the when, okay? And then why Why was this person influential? Why should we care about this person over all others? What did they do that was so special? So that's what you have to think about when you're completing this assignment. I will now do the Bruce Lee story for you. Just for the record here, I have the screen crunched. You will not hit return at the end. You will just let it stream out and do the text wrap. But I have it crunched so it all fits into my screen right here so that you can read it all at once. So it says here, Bruce Lee was a Chinese actor and a martial artist in the early 70s. So that right there has already filled the who and what. Who he was, Bruce Lee, Chinese actor, that's what he was best known for. In the early 70s, when has already been taken. So he was a martial artist in the 1970s. Lee moved to the United States. There's my where the action took place. He moved to the United States when he was 3 years old. His action roles in the movies inspired future generation action heroes and fans to learn Kung Fu and the martial arts. So that right there is the why. So I have all 5 W's here: who, what, when, where, and why. And once again, you're going to talk about your people, whoever you chose. You're going to try to fit it into a paragraph form like this in 3 to 5 sentences. This is 3 sentences, and I hit all the who, what, when, where, why. You have to consider that you're not going to have just ample space to drone on and on and on. This is for journalism. Who, what, when, where, why is for journalism. That's a journalist thing. And when the newspaper comes to you and says, you have 300 words that you could fit into this newspaper, we need the article to be 300 words, that's as much as you're going to get. If you go over, your article doesn't make it into the paper. So you have to keep it short and concise, get right to the point. So that's what we're doing here, 3 to 5 sentences: who, what, when, where, and why. The next stage of this is the edit. So here are some things that I want you to be aware of and keep track of. First off, you want to make sure that you're doing your spell check. If any words show up with a red line underneath of them, make sure that you either right-click on them and find out from the list here what the suggested spellings are, or you just know what the correct spelling is and change it. Okay, so first, check your spelling. Make sure your spelling is 100% correct. Next, check your punctuation. Make sure that you have periods, question marks if there are questions, and if you abbreviate, you have to use periods here. Make sure there's a space after the period. Okay, after every piece of punctuation, whether it be a comma or a period, you have to have a space after it. So check your punctuation. Next, homonyms. Make sure that you are using the correct form of the word. So even if you're reading through the sentence and you hear yourself talking, it sounds right, but they might have different words. So for instance, you might have something like two, and two. They all sound alike, but they all have distinctly different meanings, okay? Another one might be where, and where. Okay? One is a place, the other one is to wear something, and the third one is in a conjunction of we are. So you have to make sure that if you are spelling a word that is a homonym, you're using the correct form of the homonym. Next, fragmented sentences. Make sure that you have a complete thought. And on the other end, don't make it a run-on. So I would say 1 to 2 thoughts per sentence is just fine. When you get to 3 and 4 thoughts per sentence, it becomes a little bit droning on, and you end up with a run-on sentence. So just make sure you have a subject, a verb, for your fragmented sentence. Make sure that you have a complete thought. You have all the bits that you need for a full sentence. And then on the adverse, make sure that you don't have a run-on here where you continually run one sentence after another without putting periods in or without conjunction words. And the final one, have the computer read the project to you. So by highlighting the words here, I can right click on the words and I will go down to speech. Okay, right here, right click, and down here, speech. I still didn't get it in the screen here for you, speech. And one of the options is to start speaking. So you can right click speech and then start speaking, and the computer will now read the words to you. And then you could hear if you have any mistakes, if you omitted words, if you forgot to put words in. Sometimes when you read something, it sounds correct. But then when you listen back to it, when you have someone else read it to you, you start to realize that, oh, that didn't make sense at all, or it came off a certain way. I do this all the time with emails and all important documents. It's a good habit to have the computer read it to you so you can hear what it sounds like.
Bruce Lee was a Chinese actor and martial artist in the early 1970s.
You get the point. Now, of course, it's time to create another page for each one of your people. So I come back up here to the most influential page, and I'm going to create a new page once again. New page, name the page, the next person in the list. Walt Disney was my next person, and I'm going to, once again, don't forget, you're going to do this for each person. You're going to put it under the 100 most influential people, create another web page, and then hit create. You got the Walt Disney page open here. You can see I have most influential people, Bruce Lee, Walt Disney, and you're going to do the same thing that I did for Bruce Lee, which was put the name, put the picture, and put in the who, what, when, where, why paragraph for each person. So I'm going to do that for Walt Disney now. You could do that and then go ahead and do that for your third person as well. I'm going to do it for Walt Disney. You're going to do it for whoever your third person is. So go ahead and create the next two pages. Put in a picture, put in a paragraph, the who, what, when, where, why in 3 to 5 sentences. You should be able to finish that. And then come back to the video when you're done. Just in case you mess this up, I'm going to show you a little tidbit here. So I put Rosa Parks' page under the Walt Disney page, as you can see here, most influential people, and Rosa Parks is not showing up over here. So here's how to do that. I can change that and bring it back up to underneath the 100 most influential people by going to the sitemap. Now I can expand all the things here, and I can see that Rosa Parks is actually underneath Walt Disney. To get it back up to the same level as Bruce Lee and Walt Disney, I'm going to click Manage Pages. I click on Manage Pages, and now I can click and drag Rosa Parks to move it underneath of 100 most influential people, and now it's on the same level as everything else. If you didn't make that mistake, you can disregard the previous 47 seconds. So at this stage of the video, I currently have a home page, most influential people, where it has the people's pictures and their names on it, and then I have 3 subpages, one for each one of my pictures here, or my people. And on those pages, I have the who, what, when, where paragraph. So if you're not there yet, pause the video and come back to it. As is the case with all good research papers, I'm going to have to give credit where credit is due. I'm going to have to write a citation here for this information, because I just didn't come up with this at my own brain power, and even if you did, you're not an expert on Bruce Lee. So you're going to have to give a citation where you got this information or where you found this information. So the citation is going to be marked by a superscript number. So after the last sentence, I'm going to use a superscript. So I come up here and I'm going to go to Format and find Superscript, which will bring the number up higher than the words. I click on Superscript, and then I press the number 1. Next thing you know, I'm going to create a line underneath to separate the information from the citation. So to do that, I'm going to Insert, click on Insert, the horizontal line. So now I have a horizontal line, and I'm ready for the number 1 again, the superscript number 1, so that if I got this information, all this information from number 1, I put number 1. If a certain sentence came from another source, I would put a number 2, and then I'd have 1 and 2 down here listing and identifying where the information came from. So for right now, I need another superscript right here. I click on superscript and a number 1 that goes underneath the line. And now I'm going to copy and paste where I got this information from using the citation from encyclopedia.com. So I'm going to go back over here where I got this information. I scroll down to the bottom and I look for the citation. Here is the MLA citation. This is the one I'm going to be using. I can click highlight the citation, and then I can do Command C on the keyboard, Command C. I could also click and drag it in like so. I pop that into place, and now you'll see the citation, perfect citation for MLA. This is where I got my information. If you use an alternative source, such as Wikipedia or another media outlet on the internet, you want to make sure that you find a citation for that information as well. You could go through and you could find information. So for instance, if you were doing Muhammad Ali, I would also mention that his name was previously Cassius Clay, so on and so forth. And you could see there's a number 2 here. And if I click on number 2, it'll zoom me to that part of the page here, and I can write a citation for this information. Okay, so the numbers here are the citations that Wikipedia gives, just the same as you're doing for your research paper. So you can click and highlight and use this information right from Wikipedia as well, and write those citations in yours. So depending on who you did and where you got your information, you need to write those citations. So of course you will be writing those citations for all 3 of your who, what, when, where, why paragraphs for all 3 of your people. Next up, I'm going to be formatting. I could go along and I can change the fonts within reason. Don't get too crazy with it, but I could change the font a little bit here if I want to. And I do need to definitely do hyperlinks. So going back to the home page, my most influential page, I have pictures and names. But when I click on these pictures or the names, I want it to automatically take me to the subpage. So from viewing the home page, I want it to automatically go to the subpage. So here's how I'm going to do that. First, I need to be in the edit page. So I click on edit. And now, as you see, I have my picture acting as a piece of text when I go either side of it. It's just like a letter and a sentence. So I click on the left-hand side and drag down and across, and it will highlight the picture and the name. Okay, so I click on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side of the name. And it highlights the photograph and the name. And now I'm going to create a hyperlink. So up here in my button bar, I click on a hyperlink, add or remove a link. I get my sitemap open here, and I'm going to say I want to link that, expand my list, to the Bruce Lee subpage. I click on the Bruce Lee subpage, and then I click on OK at the bottom of my window here. So now, as you see, this is a link that when I mouse over this link, it'll show me that I will be going to the Bruce Lee subpage. Anytime I go on top of the picture as well, Bruce Lee subpage. I click save when I'm done, but don't forget I need to link up all of my pictures. Okay, so you'll go down and do your other influential people as well, linking the picture and the name to the subpage, to that individual's page where they can find out more, the who, what, when, where, why. So once I click save, I can now test out my page by clicking on either the picture or the name. And when I first clicked on Bruce Lee, I realized it wasn't taking me to that page, so all I have to do is just relink that. So I go back up and I hit edit page once again, and I click on the page, I click on highlight the picture, and if I have to, I can unlink and then relink a new link to the Bruce Lee. So I highlight it, and then I hit link up again, and then I make sure that it's going to the correct link for the Bruce Lee page. Click on Bruce Lee, click OK, and now the hyperlink is also going to the Bruce Lee page. When I'm done, I hit save, and now anytime I click on the picture, it takes me automatically to the Bruce Lee page. Now, from the Bruce Lee page, I want to click a link that takes me back to the 100 page. So if I can just click boom, ba-doom, hit return, and I can click, I just type in the word home for the home page. I can highlight that word by double clicking on it. I come up to the top. I'm going to make my link back to the home page, click on the top level page, and click OK. Now this turns into a hyperlink as well, and when I hit save, now I can go from the Bruce Lee page back to the home page, from the home page back to the Bruce Lee page. From the Bruce Lee page, I can also make links to the other subpages as well. So from down below here, I can, underneath home, I can also go to the Rosa Parks page, or even the Walt Disney page. And then I would highlight the word, create the link, go to my sitemap, select Walt Disney, because that was the name I highlighted, and then create the links. So you get the drift. You can do this with all of your pages at this time. Now let's review before you turn in. I have a home page, 100 Most Influential People. I have the 3 people that I chose with their pictures and their names on that home page. I then have a sub page for each one of my pictures, and I have it hyperlinked from the picture and the name to those sub pages. So here I have Bruce Lee, and I have the who, what, when, where, why, and paragraph format of the most influential part of their life in paragraph format right there. I also have superscript to give my citations here. Underneath that, I have hyperlinks to go to my other web pages. Once I have completed my website, everything is squared away, I know my hyperlinks work and everything else is in good shape, I'm ready to share my website. I come up here, I click on share, and I'm going to share it with Mr. B. So I click on, loads up the manage page site. So it says it is currently private, only I can access it. But what I need to do is change those permissions so that Mr. B can see it. So I can hit change here, and I want to say anyone with the link. So anyone who has the link can now see the page. And I want to save. So hit save, anyone with the link, and then hit save, and it should bring me back. And I can see now there's the link. I can copy that, Command C to copy this website, Command C on the keyboard, and then I'm going to come over here to my stream, and I'm going to add a link, paste that link in, Command V to paste, and add the link right here. It pops in my website, attached to the work. I click turn in, and Mr. B should now be able to grade it. Congratulations, you created a web page.